We're live. All right. Well, happy Thursday. Happy Thirsty Thursday. It's glad to be back. We missed our last stream, and I think I was looking back at my calendar. I think that was the first stream that we missed that we had scheduled for this year. So that's pretty good, as far as staying on track goes. We missed last week for good reason. We actually got invited to go on a few barrel picks with Dusty Dan, Jeff and Kelsey from Hello Again Whiskey Friends, Katie and Ethan Turk, Drifting Drams, Gary Franchi, World's Worst Bourbon Channel. So we did New Holland on Thursday, and I didn't get back until pretty late. And then Friday we did Evernorth. So if you guys watch their streams, they kind of rehash what we did, so I won't go too far into it. As far as my perspective, I'm here in Michigan, so both of these distilleries that we did the picks at were driving distance. So Tyler woke up early both days. I drove out. He shot both days, so we should have some good footage to put together for a vlog type video that we're going to put out here shortly. And then he would drive home. So had a heck of a time out in New Holland. I'd been out there plenty of times, but never to the barrel house. So that was a unique experience. They've got some phenomenal whiskey, which, you guys are really going to like if you stay tuned for this walleye run pick that we did. And then the next day we went up, went to Evernorth. The guys just got a bunch of new barrels in, it seemed like, and we had a good time, picking some. I didn't know if we were going to pick one. Turned out we had decided to do two. And I think while we were there, we decided, you know what, let's do three. So we actually have three Evernorth picks that will be coming out with the next, probably the next couple of months, if I had to guess. If you follow Dusty Dan or the Whiskey Friends Patreon groups, you'll see the details. And I think we're actually going to have them available through the Bourbon Jerk Patreon as well. So stay tuned. We'll have some exciting news as far as the barrel pick goes. All right. So as far as what we're doing tonight, I've got a guest that I don't know very well. I've been a subscriber to his channel for probably a good 6, 8, 12 months. He puts out some really fun content. And I think what is most unique about Mike, and I'm talking about Mike from Birds-Eye Bourbon. This dude is like shot out of a cannon. He has more energy than just about anybody else on WhiskeyTube. In fact, I'd put him up there against anybody in terms of just the raw energy this guy brings to his videos. So if you follow him, if you watch his content, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, watch the stream, get to know Mike a little bit like I'll be doing, and give him a subscribe and check out what he's doing over there. But he's having a lot of fun. He does short reviews. He does some blinds. He does a lot of the hunting videos, which are interesting. So give him a follow. Let's bring him on here. Tyler, you want to bring on Mike? There he is.
Tommy,
how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man?
And I'll say right away that I had to do bench presses this week because I knew that we were going to have you on, and I didn't want to look like too much of a schlub compared to Mike.
Remember, high reps, heavy weight, Tom. That's
okay. I'm trying to keep that in mind. I'm more low reps, low weight.
High reps, heavy weight. I'm not doing any of that anymore, though, man. I'll be 50 in a couple of months, so. Yeah,
well, you know what? I got you beat then. You look real good, Mike, for somebody who hasn't even gotten to that milestone yet, especially. And you know what? As far as how we got to the point where we invited you on here, I was actually looking at my feed. I don't know, probably about 6 weeks ago, and Tyler was with me, and I don't know how much WhiskeyTube he actually watches. I mean, he hears me talk about it, and we've had on a bunch of guests, and he does the streams with me.
I've seen him,
but I don't know how much he actually watches. So we're scrolling through, and right away, I think we saw one of the thumbnails, and it's got like your shot that you have there with like the white and the clean background. was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? And so we clicked on your video, and you're doing your thing. He's like, oh, you got to have that guy, and you got to have him on. This guy's crazy. And you know what? I'm like, you know what? I don't know Mike terribly well. I follow his stuff. We conversate a little bit on the Instagram here, or maybe on comments and videos and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? That would be a cool opportunity to have Mike on, extend him an invitation, see if he wants to come hang out for a bit and have some fun. So I appreciate you getting back, and I'm happy to have you here, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, man. I'm mostly active on Instagram. That may change in the future. It's tough to split your time between platforms, brother. I find myself 4 or 6 hours out of the day on, working between Instagram and YouTube, and it's really a grind. So I may have to make a decision here pretty soon about where I'm going to commit most of my time. But
it does seem like you got a pretty sizable following on Instagram. And what I've noticed about what you do, you're always there. As soon as I sign on, Mike's got a story, and you are always trying to shine a spotlight on some other content creator. So you're very much trying to lift up everybody in the community and support everybody, and I really like that.
So the first thing I noticed, because I've been off of social media forever, right? Because it's a toxic cesspool. Really, most of Instagram, you go take a look around, it's just negativity and people being nasty. And I noticed right away that the whiskey culture on Instagram, and to some extent TikTok, I'm no longer on that platform, it's very much warm, and people are supportive. You don't get a lot of trolls every now and then, but I don't mind the trolls too much, man. You put yourself on YouTube, or you put yourself on social media as an influencer or whatever, people are going to be nasty, and that's okay.
That's interesting that you say that. When I first got on and started posting videos, we went right to YouTube, and I was sure as soon as we started posting videos, we were going to get trolls and people, giving us a hard time. And I don't think we ever really got any.
Yeah.
And I think by and large, it's like you say, I think the community is awesome. And, it is, we don't have too many younger people. And by younger, I mean like, 20 to 25. And I think maybe that's where you get some of the, people, trolling and giving you a hard time. So I think as, we get older, I'm not on YouTube to find somebody to give a hard time or to razz. I'm there because I'm interested to see, the content that I want to see. And if it's something I'm interested in, I'll leave a comment. But who has time for, leaving, negative comments, right?
Well, some people do,
Well, yeah, I guess some.
Look, it's mostly about, sharing thoughts, experiences, comparing notes. And that's what this community is about. We want to learn. I've really only been on the platform now for just shy of a year, maybe a little bit over a year. And I've learned a ton, man. It's been a very, I'm trying to be a quick study with this, and learn as much as I can, and, squeeze as much experience in the last 12 months as possible. And, that's been my journey so far. People have been very supportive.
And I think like, we had Brandon from Whiskey Weather on the last stream.
Love that guy. Yeah.
And
awesome.
Where I first became, familiar with him was he was a guest on Scott's channel, My Bourbon Journey.
That's my boy.
And
yeah.
that's
Scott
exactly where I saw you. So, again, shout out to Scott for, being one of the facilitators as far as, bringing more, people like us that are newer into the community and making us feel like.
Yeah. So when I first joined YouTube, man, he invited me on. It was like maybe 2 months in, after maybe 2 months, maybe 8 to 10 weeks after I started my channel. And I went on a live with him, and it was very clumsy, man. I didn't know what I was doing, and I kind of embarrassed myself, and that's okay. I'm always happy to embarrass myself. There's no secrets. Like I always say at the end of my videos, there's no secrets on my channel. I tell everybody, hey, I'm a neophyte. I'm new at this. I'm learning, but my palate is gone on. It's developed pretty well in the last 6 to 8 months. I've tasted a lot of stuff. I've been on a few picks, and I've been around some really hardcore whiskey people. So I'm learning a lot. A couple of years.
And I did see, and going through your page, I think I saw some footage of you doing a pick at maybe it was like Four Roses.
Yeah.
You go down to 13th Colony?
No. I went. So I'm from Alabama. So I went back home last year, and I happened to. So I wanted to go to ASW, but they were closed on the day. But I went to Short Barrel, and I went to 13th Colony while I was back home. Had a great time, man. There's fantastic people down there. Shout out to Sam at Short Barrel. all the folks at 13th Colony. We had a good time. My mom even went with me to 13th
Yeah, I
Colony.
think I saw that. I saw that.
I mean, my 80-year-old mom in there.
That's awesome. You brought her along for the ride. And the video that I watched most recently that I sat through the entire video was you had set up a blind, and I think it was like the Jack 14, the Russell's 15, the one I'm talking about. And yeah. I just, everybody has their own style, and as far as how they put a video together. But I thought that your shot and your production was really good.
Thank you.
I've noticed like you're kind of dialing in your game as far as the production goes. So it was very, visually interesting, and just listening to, how you were taking your notes. And then when you kind of caught yourself, you're like, maybe I'm talking too much. You kind of zip through it.
Yeah.
So, for somebody that's watching it, yeah, I mean, you're keeping us in, and I sat through the.
Well, man, that's my problem. Is a lot of my videos, they tend to be too long, and I'm trying to figure that out. So, how do you edit it down without removing the good bits or the things that I think are interesting? And maybe some people don't find it interesting or noteworthy, but I try to edit the stuff to get it down to the reels and the videos as short as possible. But it's I want to get it all in there, so whatever. Maybe
sometimes you can't help it.
Right.
I kind of have the opposite problem. I think I'm doing a longer video, and it's like 4 minutes. So, yeah, I tend to be maybe a little bit soft-spoken, or I don't know. Maybe I don't talk enough. I don't know. Whatever, right? Well, a couple things here, Mike. One, for everybody watching, we do have a bottle giveaway tonight, and the bottle that I picked up for tonight's giveaway is going to be this Detroit City Distillery, and it's a honey finish bourbon single barrel. Now, I picked this for a couple of different reasons. One, well, because I'm local and I'm a fan of the brand. But two, in probably more so this than anything else, is we all watch Jason on a Mash and Drum, right? Most recently, well, not most recently, streamed last night, but the week before I missed his stream. And the next day I got a message on Instagram, and it was from Dante at Detroit City Distillery. And he's been a friend of the channel. We had him on the stream a few months ago. Great dude, great ambassador, great person to have on board to promote your brand. But anyway, he reached out and he said, "Hey, did you see Mash and Drum the other night? I sent him a bottle." And he's like, fast forward to like the 22-minute mark. Okay, well, and it so happens I missed the stream, so I went back and I watched it, and sure enough, he had given Jason a bottle, and it was one of these. And Jason cracked it on his stream. Turns out he liked it, has some good things to say about the bottle and the brand. So Dante was really excited. So as soon as I saw that made me feel good, because Jason, that Jason doesn't pull punches. If he thought it was no good, he would have said right on the stream, "It sucks."
There's a reason he doesn't get birthday bourbon anymore, right?
But there's also a reason that that a lot of us look to him, and a lot of people generally look to him as kind of the authority on, well, hey, is this good or not? I think for a lot of people out there, maybe that person is Fred Minnick. What does Minnick think? What does Minnick think? Well, I think for me and my smaller group, I think it's, well, what does Jason think? What does he post on this one? So anyway, Dante was really excited, and as soon as I had that exchange, I'm like, you know what, I got to find one of these for the stream, and we'll give one away tonight. So that's going to be the bottle giveaway. That's first prize. Second prize is going to be a flight that Mike has in front of him, which you won't know what's in it until we kind of get to the reveal here at the end. And then I'm also going to do a Bourbon Jerk Glen giveaway. I think I got a few more of those left. Those were made by our friend Top Dog. So I got a couple more of those. So that'll be our third prize. So let me bring up, okay, Tyler's on top of it. He's got the banner going. Okay. So there you go. Follow the crawl at the bottom if you want to get in. But there'll be 3 giveaways. And before we get into it, Mike, let's say hi to a few of the people here in chat. Let's see. I think, was it Marty was in here first, I believe. Mike, do you follow Whiskey Nose? If you don't, you ought to.
Yes, I do follow Marty Party.
Yeah, Marty's great dude, great channel, great friend of mine. We've
Great
got
latte. Yeah, that dude's awesome.
Trey Larkin. What's up, buddy? We got Randall Erickson. What's going on, Randall? Let's scroll down a little bit. Roger Reese is in the house. Reese's Pieces. Did somebody call him yesterday? Roger, what's going on, my friend? Top Jimmy. Top ranked Jimmy. There he is, top dog. Cheers, everyone. Me and Renee are downtown Nashville for a birthday tonight. Get ready to go into a show. Cheers. Thank you. Well, top dog, thanks for the Glens again. And like I said, we're gonna give one of those away tonight.
Cheers to Top Dog, man. He hit me up on Instagram, said he wouldn't be able to make the stream, but he'll check it out later. Yeah, good dude.
Good dude for sure, 100%.
Good brother.
We've got Tim Cornet. He's a local here. Tim, good to have you, buddy. There he is, Whiskey Weather. Cheers, my dude.
What's up, B?
Brandon was on the stream, and then Brandon started doing his streams. I think he's been doing Tuesday nights kind of late, like maybe 9-ish. So check him out. Great channel. Killer content. He's really good at this, Mike.
Yeah, he is. He's very good. He cheats. He's on screen all the time.
Yeah, no, he's like a TV dude, so he's kind of got a leg up on a lot of us. But no, he's really good in his videos. Tater Dom, what's going on, buddy?
Tater Dom.
Let's see, we caught up here. Chris Jenkins, what's going on? Bourbon Dan is in the house. All right. Dave Vogelsang, what's going on, Dave? Corvette Trey.
Love Dave. Shout out to Dave.
Dave's one of the real ones.
He is. Yeah, absolutely.
Great supporter of the community, Dave. Let's see. I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. We'll catch you soon. So what we're doing here, Mike, we're going to run you through the gauntlet. Not really, but we've got 4 samples in front of you, and they don't have numbers or letters. They have goofy symbols, right?
It's like hieroglyphics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Squid Game is where I got the symbols. Or you could also look at your PlayStation controller.
You're right.
Either one, but it's an X, a O, a triangle, and a square, right?
Yeah.
So there's no order. You go in any order you want, but you're going to want to take some notes. And Tyler, okay, do you want to bring up the questions that we're going to ask Mike? So here's what you want to be watching for.
Okay.
There we go. So you're going to get 10 questions. And Mike, these are the same 10 questions that I've asked everybody that we've had play this game.
Okay.
So the questions are constant. The only variable is what did we give you to drink?
Okay.
And the questions aren't terribly complicated because I'm not that, I'm not the advanced whiskey drinker myself. I kind of identify closer down to the novice or intermediate level. So these are things that I would think, well, maybe I would be able to pick out. Maybe not, but that's the genesis of this. We're looking for which one of the bunch is the highest proof, which one is the lowest proof, which is finished, which is a bourbon, which is a rye, which one might have the highest age statement, which one has the highest MSRP, which one has the lowest MSRP.
Okay.
Which one is distilled in Kentucky? And then the last question is maybe the local twist. Which one of these is distilled in Michigan? And I know you're out in California. Do you have much experience with Michigan brands at all?
I've maybe seen some Pingree.
Okay. All
maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I think might have been a Total Wine, but not really. Yeah, we don't
see they have like a smaller footprint. I think they're mostly Midwest. I'm trying to think of what might even get out to you in California. And I mean, we've got Journeyman, we've got Pingree, which is Valentine. That's the brand. There's New Holland, which is like Walleye Run and Dragon's Milk, but I don't think they push all the way out to California.
No, I've never seen any of that.
There's the guys from Evernorth. That's not made here in Michigan.
Right.
Iron Fish. I know that's a smaller one too. Yeah, we don't. Detroit City Distillery, obviously. These are all have kind of a smaller footprint, so they're mostly Midwest. So my guess is,
yeah, never seen any of the junky stuff either. Yeah, none of it.
I'll have to get you some. Get you a flight to try some of their stuff. It's fantastic. The one that is in your flight, I promise you, you will have heard of it. Whether you've tried it or not, who knows? But anyway, there's something in there from Michigan.
Okay.
So those are gonna be the 10 questions, and just pick one, pour it up. If you want to give me some notes, you like it, you hate it. What do you get off of it? Does it smell awful? Does it smell great? Is it the best thing you've ever tasted in your life? That sucked. Are you mad at me for sending it? Just whatever your reactions are. I'll jot down some notes. You jot down some notes. We'll just kind of bullshit as we go. And,
yeah, it takes a lot to man to get me upset. You know what I mean? It wasn't always that way. I'm pretty much mellow now in my old age.
I think as we put ourselves out there, we have to be willing to take some heat, right? I mean, that's to be expected.
Right. And people are going to criticize. That's okay. But
yeah, that's fine. I mean, if I didn't expect that, I wouldn't have hopped on here, right? All right. So while you're pouring, which one did you go for first, Mike?
So I start with the triangle.
Triangle. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
All right. While you're doing that, I've got a bottle that I'm going to open, and this is one I've not ever had before. It's a Michter's barrel strength bourbon. Never had, never tried. No preconceived notions, other than I know a lot of people go bonkers for Michter's. I'm a fan. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, but maybe this might change my mind a little bit. And I'm going to pour it in one of these glasses, which I've never used. You can see this. You ever tried these glasses, Mike? These are the Whiskey glasses.
No.
I know a few other channels use them. They actually reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, asked if I might be interested in using their products and maybe promoting them. I said, you know what? I've never tried it. Send me what you got, and I'll give it a try. So I sent over a couple of these. And it says Scotch glasses. Oh, here.
Okay, I see now. Kind of looks
Scotch
like a regular
glasses.
glass. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that different from a Glen, other than that maybe it's a little bit more angled, a little bit more modern, and it's got a much bigger bottom to it. Feels a little bit more substantial, I guess. But anyway, I thought I'd give them a try, see if I like it. And if so, we'll start promoting them.
Cheers. So
Cheers, buddy.
on the triangle right away, I got orange wedge. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in like a fresh, like a light dill note. Some vanilla as well, and it's weird. It's like a proof dough on the nose, like a pizza dough. Weird.
Pizza dough. Okay, that's interesting. Now, are those notes that you associate with any other types of whiskey or anything that rings a bell, or this is just your raw reaction?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe this may be a rye, maybe a barely legal. Cheers.
All right. So Corvette Trey says, Michter's is amazing. I keep the 10-year and toast it on the bar. You know what? I did have samples of the 10-year bourbon, and then isn't there also a 10-year rye? Buddy of mine, I think, sent me both of them last year. I thought they were good, but I don't know that they were, to my palate, I don't know that they were great. Like, I got to run out and get these, and I know that they charge a hefty premium down here if you can find a 10-year Michter's. I want to say they're a good $200-300.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about the 10-year bourbon. That released this month, right?
I don't know. I think these just released recently. If I'm wrong, somebody in the chat let me know.
Yeah. So the rye, the barrel strength rye, it's not as rye forward as last year's. I have a couple of bottles of last year's, and to me it drinks like straight dill. It's very rye forward. Yeah.
I did try that one recently. We got that one, and then we got the bourbon like another week later or something. But as far as the Michter's barrel strength rye, to me, it didn't drink like a rye at all. Like, it felt like it was a bourbon to me. So I don't know what the mash bill is. Yeah, I mean, at least to me,
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a barely legal rye, like, towards like the 52. And I could be completely wrong, but to me, it drank a lot more like a bourbon than a rye.
So I get dill right away on this guy. There's some baking spice there. Nice cinnamon on the finish, and a little bit of vanilla sweetness. It's a light sweetness. I'd say that's definitely a rye. 100% that's a rye. But not finished. I'd say it's a rye. Maybe 5 to 6 years old. MSRP, I put that around maybe $70.
Okay.
Maybe.
Now, you don't have to guess all of these for each one, but you
Okay.
definitely want to have, you want to be able to recall this when I ask you, well, what's your guess for, which one of these is a rye?
Okay, got it.
But does this seem like something you may have had before?
No. I don't think so.
I'm just going to look back and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I would be surprised if you haven't had this. Put it
Really?
that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's been a while, and obviously it could be a different batch or whatever, but I'm guessing it's something that you've had.
Yeah, that might even be a 95.5. Yeah. That's good. It's delicious. I'd buy that. Yeah. As long as it wasn't $300. I'm gonna pay $300.
Right. So speaking of that price point, you got yourself some of those higher end bottles that everybody's hunting for. You got the Russell's 15 and you got the Jack 14.
Yeah.
Were you able to get them at decent prices, or were they?
So yeah, the Jack 14, my buddy called me. I was asleep. I've been on graveyard shift for a couple years now, and I woke up at about 2:00 and he's like, dude, you got to get to this liquor store. They got Jack 14, they got 12 and 10, and they're all around retail. So I threw my clothes on. The liquor store is about 30 minutes from the house. So I ran over there, and they had 12s, 10s, and 14s. So I got the last two 14s, and I'm giving one to my buddy. We're going to do a trade because I know he's been looking for it. He's a big Jack fan. So
Sure.
I got the last two 14s. So I paid $200 for the 14, which is a great price because you look at secondary right now, man, people have lost their minds.
Well, I think retail is like 189, or is it
150? 150 is the retail on that bottle, and they're charging upwards of,
it's higher here in Michigan. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was like 180-ish. But none of the stores here will sell it to you for that.
Yeah, I think MSRP is $150. I could be wrong. I usually am, but yeah. And then I picked up a couple of 12s. I picked up a batch 4 and a batch 1. I couldn't believe it. They have a batch 1 that's been sitting around for 4 years. I don't know.
The batch 1 is the one that has a slightly different bottle than the more recent ones. Is that?
No, it's the same bottle. Same bottle, but a lot of people consider the 12-year batch 1 to be the best. So I'll find out soon. I haven't cracked it, but yeah. And then I got a couple of 10s. I got a batch. Let's say I got a batch 310 and also a batch 410. So pretty stoked about that, man. That was a great haul.
Yeah, here you go. But what Tim said here. Now, Tim, like I said, is in Michigan.
No, don't pay $500 for that bottle, brother. No.
Yeah, I've had a sample of it. No, I wouldn't pay $500 for it.
No.
It's don't mind. It's really good, but it's not $500 good.
I'd pay.
Okay.
I'd pay maybe $250 to $300. Depending on my mood. You know what I mean? But
all right. So here's a question for you, Mike. Where in California is Birdseye? What part?
So I'm located in Tracy, California, which is just east of the Bay Area. It's just right outside the Bay Area. I used to live in Fremont, and we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina back in 2017, and we sold our house. Big mistake. Huge mistake. But I enjoyed my time in Charlotte. We were there for a year, and then we moved to Portland. I was there for about 6 months, and we moved back to California because, my wife's a crazy person. But she was born and raised in San Francisco, so Charlotte was a big culture shock for her, and she couldn't adjust. And so to get back to the West Coast, we were in Portland for our maybe our 10th anniversary back in 2014, and we fell in love with the city. Portland back then in 2014 was a great town, immaculate. The streets were clean, people greeted you. people walked around with, you know, a good sense of purpose. And the city's kind of changed a bit. And so we moved back to the Bay Area. And so, yeah, we're just outside the Bay Area. And,
so you've been all around, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I'm moving on to the square.
Okay.
All right. Butterscotch. Ooh.
Have those OF7 bottles dropped in North Carolina yet? Marty, it's probably geared to you. Okay, now here's how behind Michigan is. All the local stores were just promoting that we got the red label 4 Roses single barrels today. Those have been out for a couple of months at this point, if I'm not mistaken, right? If anybody has any of those red label 4 Roses single barrels, let me know what you think of them. Are they worth the price tag, or just skip them all together, or what?
I'm looking forward to the LE that's coming out. What's
Like
September?
I think I've had a sample of one of them, Mike. It's just one of those ones that, and again, it's you got to be on your hunting game if you're going to get some of these bottles here in Michigan, and I'm not.
So help me out. Is Michigan a control state?
No.
Okay.
Stores can charge whatever the heck they want,
and they probably do, right?
For the most part, you know, there's a published book, and they publish a state minimum price. So for the most part, a lot of those are going to be the prices that you see things on the shelf for, unless it's something allocated. If it's something, okay. All right, I hear you. My wife says the fire department is outside. Hopefully they're not here for us. But yeah, anything allocated, the store gets, they know what they have. They're upcharging, some more than others. So yeah, it's like the Wild West. And hopefully with maybe some of the demand softening, that will change a little bit, but I'm not overly encouraged.
Yeah, California is very much that way. We get a majority. Well, I won't say a majority, but we get a big part of the allocated product that's headed towards the Pacific time zone. And obviously, it's not a controlled state. And in order to get something at or near retail, you really have to have a relationship out here in California. And you'll see most of the places I go, they're museums, and unless you have a relationship, it's really tough, man, to get anything close to SRP. It's just not gonna happen. Unless you're a Grand Reserve member with Total Wine, but I don't want to spend my money at that place. I'd rather spend stores.
What's interesting is Total Wine. I know they've got that program. For some reason, it's not legal here in Michigan for them to do it.
Really?
Yeah, it has to do with you can't run like lotteries to give away liquor or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what the verbiage is, but it's one of the states where if you go to sign up, it'll tell you in the fine print it's not permissible in Michigan. So, and Total Wine, when they first got here to Michigan a few years ago, everything was state min. Now it's not. I mean, I was there last week, and I think there was a Joseph Magnus for like $265 on the shelf. So yeah, they're definitely catching up with the local shops here and overcharging.
Everything okay over there, man? I don't see any smoke. So okay.
No, I think she said somebody got in an accident or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, crazy drivers in Michigan.
Oh, yeah, even in the subdivisions.
The craziest drivers are in North Carolina. That's a fact. I'm from California, man, and people in North Carolina, Charlotte area, very, very aggressive.
Yeah, it's like that here. Plus, we got to dodge all the potholes and the ice. So there's layers of degrees of difficulty here in Michigan as well.
This one's got me stumped, dude.
So square. You said butterscotch was the note.
So I got butterscotch, toffee, caramel, and like sweet floral. But this to me is maybe drinking like a rye. I get cinnamon right away on the front and the mid palate.
Okay.
That's a nice sweetness and a good spice. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, the caramel transfers to the palate.
I will say this.
I like that one the best so far.
I'm drinking through this and I'm trying to think in my head, you know, the rye drank like a bourbon. The bourbon is a bit spicy to me. The Michter's barrel strength. I mean, the barrel strength Michter's is what, only 110. So it's not like a super high barrel strength, but I'm getting like a lot of cinnamon and spice notes on the bourbon.
It's also maybe, it's gonna sound weird, like thyme.
Thyme.
Yeah.
There's a pull.
Yeah, like a green herb there. That one's nice. I really enjoyed that one. Thank you. Appreciate that. That one's good. Send me a bottle. No.
I think there's some good stuff in there.
That one's great, actually.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I'm looking to see what I gave you. Okay. I like that one a bit too.
Okay.
What's going on, Danny?
So tell me, why'd you get into the YouTube game? So what was the impetus for you?
You know, I was watching a lot of Whiskey 2.
Yeah.
And I'm in my basement here where we're filming or shooting, whatever. And I had just refinished it. And as part of, you know, how I was putting it together, I put together this like bar area.
Looks
and
good.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I could shoot videos like some of these dudes do. I mean, it's not really in my nature to get in front of a camera and do it, but
me either.
I could do that, right? But really, Mike, the impetus was my son had recently graduated high school, and he kind of took to film editing. He put like his senior video together. And he was kind of like he wasn't the best student, we'll say. He kind of found his calling with the filming and the editing, and so he graduated, did that, and decided to take some courses in community college. And so we thought, you know what, this might be an interesting, kind of intersection here. If I'm willing to do it, and he's willing to, do the editing and filming. So that's kind of how it came together. So we've had a good bit of fun with it, and he's getting close to where he'll be 21 and maybe can start being in some of the videos. So he's excited for that. But yeah, I mean that's his calling is filming and editing, film production. So
he's the real talent over there. Got it.
Oh, 100%. None of this is me. I can sit and I can go buy bottles and I can crack them. Maybe give a couple of notes here and there, but no, he's putting all of this stuff together.
That's awesome, man. You guys get to spend some time together, and he gets to learn. You get to learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do stuff like this to kind of get to know other people in the community and just kind of get it out there a little bit. So he's kind of building his, I hesitate to say like resume anymore because I don't know that people even use those, but he's got a body of work where he can point to say, hey, we did this, or, what have you. And he's got another channel that he does with one of his other friends, which is completely unrelated to whiskey. They do like aquarium type thing, like fish, coral reefs. It's a whole thing. Tyler, if you want to drop the link to that, your other channel here, go for it.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll sub. Yeah, I always fantasize about having an aquarium, like a saltwater aquarium in the house. But man, the amount of work it takes to maintain the fish and the pH and the water, and
I can only imagine.
And then getting the right species so they don't attack each other. Like people and shit.
Yeah, he just put out a video before we went on the stream here, and spoiler alert: one of the fish don't make it. And, go check that out and see for yourself. But it's really one of those things where it's very visually like inviting. With the camera lens that they use and the visuals in the tanks with all the fish. It's really cool. But anyway, Tyler, if you're listening, drop a link so people can check you out.
Shout out to Tyler.
There we go. There we go. That's a link to Tyler's new video. There you go. Check it out. There's a very serene music in there. So if you're just wanting to chill out, whatever, go put it on.
I think I'm seeing a theme here, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Are
way
you?
off.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Which one are you on now, Mike?
I'm on. Oh, sorry. X.
X. Okay. All right. And what was your reaction to that one?
So far, I get like a warm caramel on the nose.
Okay.
And I wrote Rice Krispie Treat and rye grain. So I'm getting rye again. So I don't know, man.
All right. Rice Krispie Treat. That's a good one. I like that.
Like almost like something floral there, maybe.
Okay.
Like a blossom. Yeah. Yeah, not the actress.
All right. There you go, Tyler. You pick up a few subscribers.
Also.
So I'll tell you this. I wasn't sure how different this was really going to be from using a Glen, but it is. I do like it a bit more. It just for me, I got fat fingers, Mike, and so like holding the Glen is a little bit awkward, I suppose. I mean, obviously it's ideal for nosing. If I'm going to have a few pours by myself and I'm not shooting, I use those Whiskey Wisdom glasses with the heavy bottoms that are shaped like a low ball glass.
Yeah,
low
center of gravity.
Yeah, those are my favorite. But this is, I can see why people use these.
Yeah, that one's kind of tapered at the top, right? Whereas opposed to
it's got like the same. Yeah, I'd say the same size opening. It's just a little different shape, and this bottom part is a lot heavier. That's right up my alley. Soothing sounds, music content. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the vibe. All right. And yeah, I definitely dig this this Michter's.
Wow. I think we're getting better as we go here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's got like a dark fruit richness and complexity. I like this one a lot, actually. So as I'm tasting, the rankings are kind of going in that order, right? So the triangle and the square and the X in that order. These are my favorites so far. This one's
okay.
great.
So like, the more you're getting into it, you're liking them better.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So say you're not shooting, Mike, and you're just looking to have a pour. And sit down and watch TV, watch the game or whatever. What's something that you might reach for?
Right now, man, I'm really enjoying. So there's a Mash and Journey pick. It's from Still Austin. It's the
sure.
Oh God, I can't remember the name of it now. I have it over in the bunker, but I've been going to that quite a bit. And then also I was able to go to Costco and grab a 1924. I grabbed like 3 of those guys. So I've been enjoying the 1924 quite a bit.
I really like the 1924 on its own.
Yeah,
but I did a blind with Old Forester stuff, and I think it came in last, which was completely shocking to me.
Right.
My order was all messed up. Spoiler alert if you didn't watch the video. It's been out for a month, but whatever. My winner was 1910.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the bourbons I liked when I first got into whiskey. Probably really haven't gone back to it in years.
Usually for most people, it's like 1920, right? That's the one that they really like.
1920, when I first got into bourbon, Mike, I didn't like it.
Really?
And it was one of those, it's like everybody says, oh, you got to go try 1920. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, I don't like it. I like an astringent finish or something. It just was like sharp and jagged to me that I didn't really love. So I felt like I was like the outlier. Maybe I just don't like that brand, but I did like the 1910, and I think it was because it was like double oaked, and it turns out that's more of the profile that I like.
Yeah, 1920. I think 1920 because I used to drink that 3 years ago. That's one of the bourbons that kind of changed my outlook on the that type of whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And something happened, I think, in the last 18 months where it just doesn't have the richness and the flavor
Yeah,
that you're weird.
Your preferences and your palate will, evolve a little bit.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Hmm.
Man, I'm gonna embarrass myself here, Tom. It's all right.
I don't think you're going to. I think you're doing just fine.
I think I'm gonna embarrass myself. That's all right. This one's great. Holy moly. Whatever that is. X.
That is X.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
I agree.
And the finish on this thing, whatever that is, it's still going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a nice finish. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, dude, I was hanging out with, I don't know if you know him. He's on Instagram. He's not on YouTube. His name is Kevin, Because Bourbon. I hung out with him yesterday. He was visiting from Connecticut, and we met at a Dave and Buster's of all places. And we had a good time. A couple of parking lot pours, and then so I did that yesterday. And I'm with you today, right? And then I get a break tomorrow, and then I'm going to Corbin Cash on Saturday.
Now that is in California, obviously, right?
It is. It's in Atwater, so it's about an hour from my house. And of
Okay.
course, they're known for their Merced Rye, and I think the Mash and Journey this Friday.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mash and Journey. I'm a member of Mash and Journey, proud member, by the way. Yeah, I know you are too. And they're releasing a hazmat Corbin Cash Rye this Friday. But I've got like 6 of them, so I don't know if I'm gonna be buying or not, but we'll see.
Interestingly enough, the only other Corbin Cash bottle that I've ever got was the Mash and Journey Merced Rye pick from, I think it was 2 years ago now, or it was 3 years ago. No, it was 2 years ago. It was 2023.
I'm a newer member. Yeah, I don't know.
And I did it. It was in a blind flight at the end of the year, and that was the one that I picked as my favorite rye of 2023.
Yeah, it's got a unique profile, man. I've tasted quite a bit of rye whiskey.
Yeah, and I saw the one tomorrow is 140 proof, and it's 9 years. So yeah,
let me tell you, they don't drink proofy like the hazmat stuff. It's very crushable, dense, rich, complex, a lot of good flavor. And if you're a bourbon drinker, you're really gonna like the Corbin Cash Ryes, man. They're delicious.
Yeah, the only one I've tried I thought was fantastic. So I'm excited that you're finally getting that one out. I know it's one that's been talked about for a little while. For some reason, I think are they like a smaller outfit, Mike? Corbin Cash?
Yeah, they're like a micro distillery, but they do everything grain to glass. Everything there. I mean, they harvest. Well, I don't know if they work with farmers. So let me back up. So I don't know if they grow their own grain, but I know everything's grain to glass. So yeah, they work with either they grow or they source the grain, but yeah, they distill.
They're making it there.
Distill, barrel, bottle, everything on site.
I know I've got a sample somewhere here.
Yeah, David Souza is a great guy, man. So moving on to O now. Last one.
All right. So Corbin Cash. I've actually got a sample. I think this was from Dusty Dan. This is an 8. Shout out to Dusty Dan for sure. This is a 8-year bourbon, 150.
Yeah, good thing the fire department's there, right?
I'm gonna need the fire department to put out my breath here in a minute, I think. That's funny.
Whoa. Whoa.
So this was one of those samples I probably got a while ago, and then I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm in the mood for a 150. But it's a small sample, and talking about Corbin Cash, it seems like.
What do you think of the hazmat craze, man? I get asked this all the time. What do you think of hazmat? What do you think of hazmat?
I've really not had too many hazmat bourbons or whiskeys, whatever. I did get one. I think it was last year. It was called the Dukes of Hazmat. It was put out by whiskeychannel.com with Dave and Kira, Trev, Bourbon Wrench, and there were some others involved in that pick as well. And it's like 160 proof, 100, maybe 161.
Is that legal? I thought
Well, it's a light whiskey.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's like 20. It's got like a 20-some year age statement, and it's 160 proof. It doesn't taste like it, but it's one of those. If you have a decent pour, when you stand up, you're drunk. You just don't know it yet. Like it's already worked its magic, and you're toast. But I don't have too many that are quite that high. I mean, there's a few that I have are like that are in the mid to high 130s, but I don't think in my collection, I don't think I've got more than one or two hazmats.
Yeah, people get obsessed with proof, and they get obsessed with proof and age. And I don't, Jason talked about this yesterday in his lives. He had a Elijah Craig barrel proof pick.
Mhm.
It's an 8-year pick, and he said it's one of the best Elijah Craig barrel proofs he's ever tasted, and it's only 8 years. And I think he's right. People get so obsessed with data and numbers, and they don't focus on the whiskey.
It's not the end all be all, but yeah, as a general rule, you're gonna probably look for something with a little bit more age if all other factors are equal, right?
Yeah.
Just like if you're looking at two picks of the same two picks of the same whiskey, you're probably going to gravitate towards the higher proof. At least that's what I do, because I figure it's more flavor, it's uncut, it's more that's going to be coming through as far as notes go. It's not always the case, but I mean, if I'm picking between something that's 118 and 120, let's go for the 120. It might turn out I like the lower proof better, but if I'm being honest, where am I going to gravitate towards? It's probably the one that's a little higher.
Yeah. Oh wow. What in the world? What's in that?
Oh, okay. So you're on the last one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on O, man. I don't know what this is. That's sweet. That's spicy.
Okay.
That's like funnel cake on the palate. So on the nose on this guy, I got chocolate covered peanut.
Okay.
And there's a nice oak profile. So I put caramel drenched oak.
Okay.
I got a little bit of orchard fruit too, and hazelnut.
All right. So you're drawing on a lot of very interesting descriptors, Mike. So I like that. I dig that.
No, and if you look at the color of this guy compared to the other three, this
should be darker, right?
Yeah, it's definitely got some age. This might even be finished. This might be a finished whiskey. I don't know, but I'm getting a sweetness there on the finish. It's interesting. I'm gonna go back to it, man. This is wow. You sent me some good stuff here, bro. Appreciate it.
I think so. I mean, I'm looking at what I sent you, and 3 of these I would pour right now. The fourth one I didn't love, but I think a lot of people do. But 3 out of the 4 are going to be ones that I go to a good bit. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's got a sweet profile.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
All right. Sugar Kitty, Nerds and Turds sounds like brain candy. No, it was the Dukes of Hazmat was the one I was talking about. Sugar Kitty. And I think it was like 100. I think it was 160 proof, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So
it wasn't just hazmat, it was like fucking nuclear.
Yeah. So my buddy sent me a Garrison Brothers. It was a single barrel that's 158 proof. And I made the mistake of drinking that shit. Oh my God.
What do you think about Garrison Brothers?
I've had a few. I've had the Balmoria. I've had a taste of the Cowboy. You got to be in the mood for Garrison Brothers. It's strong.
That's being diplomatic, I think.
Yeah. No, it's strong. To me, it reminds me of Scotch in a way. I have to be in the mood for it. And if I go to your house and you pour it for me, man, I'll be grateful and happy and be polite about it. But yeah, I mean, I literally was drooling. My mouth immediately opened after I put it on the palate. My mouth opened. I was drooling on the floor. Yeah, it was strong. It was like a baseball mitt. Yeah.
We did a thing last year where we tried to find the best Texas whiskey. We did like a collaboration with 3 different channels. 2 of them were guys in Texas.
Yeah.
So we did blinds and a few of them were the Garrison Brothers whiskeys, which I had no experience with going in. And what I can tell you about the Garrison Brothers profile is I do not like it at all.
Right.
But the Cowboy both the 23 and the 24 to me reminded me of like 13th Colony Double Oak.
Yeah.
With all that dark, heavy richness, the layers of like the molasses, the chocolate, the oak, the orange peel, just the whole shebang. It had everything, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But any other thing from Garrison Brothers I tried, I had a hard time getting through the sample.
Well, you'll notice there's a consistency from the whiskey that comes from that region, like the Southeast and Texas, right? I don't care if it's like Crittenton or Detling, right, or 13th Colony or Garrison Brothers, and to some extent, no, not really still ATX, but maybe Iron Root. I don't know if you ever had any of that stuff.
I think Iron Root was in there.
There's a Southern funk there. It's a darkness and a richness that you don't see from the other whiskey producing regions. It's good. You got to be in the mood for it. You know, maybe it's a last pour, and it's something that you enjoy after dinner, right?
Yeah, there are definitely some wild profiles as far as the Texas stuff goes. Garrison Brothers didn't do it for me. Balcones, now they've got some weird stuff too, but the Balcones stuff I did like, especially the I think it's the Texas One single malt.
Yeah, and get the old stuff now because they're doing pretty much what American single malt now, right? Balcones.
Yeah. The two that I've got are, one is the single malt, and the other one is the
Baby Blue. Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I don't even know what the heck Brimstone is. It's definitely not a. I think it's just an American whiskey. I don't think it's a single malt. I could be wrong, but it's dark as like mud. It's
molasses.
Exactly, dude. And I think it's like that scrubbed oak or whatever. But yeah, it's a wild profile for sure. All right, so this Corbin Cash 150 proof bourbon 8-year definitely doesn't drink the proof.
No,
it is like that darker, sweeter profile, but it's got a surprisingly tame finish for the proof.
Yeah, you can feel like it's got an earthy quality that you don't see in other whiskeys, and that's why look, Jason C. and Scott immediately they were like, this is something special, and it really is, and it only exists in the Central Valley here in California. You know,
at Merced Rye or whatever.
Merced Rye. Have you had the Balboa Rye from New Riff?
Yes, but not this year's. The one that I've got is from 2, maybe 3 years ago.
Okay,
and I love it, and
yeah.
To me, it's got like a real cream soda, like like Faygo, but I don't know that you have Faygo in California. It's more like a Michigan thing, but it's like a Faygo cream soda vibe to it, which I absolutely love. Now, I've heard things about this year's. People love it, but from what I'm hearing, as far as the descriptors, it doesn't sound like the past batch. So I'm going to have to maybe get it and A/B it, because it sounds very different, but it also sounds awesome. Cheers, Tiffany.
Hey,
that's my wife, Mike.
Oh, hi, Tiff. I bet one of my friends in South Carolina is Tiffany. You know, Tiffany from Bourbon at Tiffany's.
No, yeah. Is that an Instagram account?
She does blending and does a lot of picks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's
as far as the platform goes, I think we started all three at the same time, and we immediately got like quite a few subscribers on TikTok for whatever reason. I don't know. We were pushing the same content.
Yeah.
So, and then I met a few cool people on that app, and at some point I posted a video, and they tanked it. They said it violated the violated the terms and conditions of the app.
Guidelines. Yeah.
The community guidelines. And I appealed, and I lost, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. So YouTube, I think, is kind of where the space where I want to be. I use Instagram more to promote the YouTube and to connect with some of the different brands. So I think they both, to me, those are the two that I really use, is just YouTube and Instagram.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, bro. The idioms and the puns that I use on Instagram, I'm surprised I haven't gotten banned. Some of it's, quasi sexual shit.
I couldn't figure out what I did because it was literally just a dumb, 60-second, this is a good, you know what I mean? Like it's elite or it's shit or whatever it was. It violated the standards and I couldn't figure out why. And instead of, stressing about it, like, do we really need to be on this app?
Yeah, well, I mean, the algorithm is like your weird neighbor, bro. You never know what's coming.
Yeah. Well, same with YouTube. But why I like this platform is basically because what we're doing here. I like connecting on a live stream with people from other channels. The people that are here in chat are people that for the most part, people that I've met.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of looking at the names, people that I talk to in other streams. So it's a smaller community, but I do enjoy connecting with other channels and kind of maybe building it out a little bit. So that's why I'm glad you're here because, we do tend to, stick to our circle a little bit. Like, I told you Marty is my good buddy. So we'll stream together a good bit.
Marty's awesome. I enjoy his content.
He's the best. He's the best. And there's been no bigger supporter of my channel.
He's from the South like me. So it's all good.
So, I love doing streams with him, but I also like, maybe kind of expanding that reach a little bit, bringing other people in. And if we didn't do that, it would get a little bit boring, wouldn't it? So I'm glad that you decided to join us here tonight. So
appreciate you, man. I appreciate the invite. I know we've been working on this for like 6 weeks, and my schedule. I have a 9 to 5, of course, and I work graveyard, so my schedule's tough. So getting on lives and being active in this way is tough for me, but I had to do it for you.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate that a lot, and it is. There's not very many of us that do this like full time, right? So as far as me coordinating with other people that I'm, having to try to get on as guests, it can be difficult coordinating schedules, especially when I'm kind of pinned down to this particular day and time. So there's a few people that I've been going back and forth with for months, and it's just like, dude, it's not going to work out, and it's not because I don't want you on. It's just our schedules; they're not compatible. So let's move on. And I get it. We're not all going to be able to connect.
I got a question for you.
All right.
Bourbon jerk. You don't seem like a jerk to me.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe we'll get there, Mike.
All right. Another time.
We'll see. All right. Marty says finally 2 people get it. Well, if there's anybody that gets it, it's Marty. So, yeah, you gotta meet Marty one of these days, Mike.
Shout out to Marty. All right.
So you got through your
I got through them all. Yeah. I got some notes.
So before we ask you the questions to get your answers, did you have a favorite?
Yeah, my favorite was X.
Okay.
X.
I can respect that for sure. Did you have a least favorite?
The equilateral triangle there.
Yeah. Very good geometry recollection, Mike. I think.
Yeah,
is it equal?
They told me I never used math ever again when I graduated from college. They
always told us we wouldn't always have a calculator in our pocket, right? Equilateral, yeah, an equilateral triangle. Very good.
Yeah. And then, so I don't know, man. It's close between the O and the square. I like the sweetness on the O.
Okay.
But I like the overall experience on the square. I don't know. Maybe they're tied.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm just trying to get some feedback on what you liked and maybe what you didn't. Yeah. All right. So Ty, do you want to bring that the questions back up on the screen if you're still watching there? I never know if he's listening to me. I say he is.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So Mike, first question. Which of the 4 do you think had the highest proof? Now, you don't got to tell me the proof. You don't get any bonus if you headshot it. Just tell me which one you think had the highest proof.
I'm gonna go with X.
All right.
Wrong. Okay.
Well, we'll go through the answers at the end and the reveal. Okay, now this Corbin Cash is starting to hit a little harder now that I'm getting through it. Ooh.
All right.
That's the 150
right.
coming through. Like that, just that last sip hit the back of my palate. I'm like, oh, that was like a uppercut. All right, which of these do you think had the lowest proof, Mike?
I'm gonna go with triangle.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me.
About 3. Which of these, and again, there could be more than one, and you don't have to guess any more than one. In fact, you're only going to guess one.
Okay.
You have a better chance of getting this right if there's more than one. But which of these do you think is a finished whiskey?
That's finished.
Oh.
All
right.
Pretty sure.
No hesitation. Just, you know what? I like that. I can get on board with that.
Stay forward of center mass, man. Just whatever.
Always forward, never back. Which of the 4 samples is a bourbon?
I'm gonna go with O.
Okay. How about which one of these is a rye?
Triangle.
All right. Mike, were you one of these people though that fared well on tests when you were a kid?
Negative. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends if I had my breakfast or not, brother.
Is that right?
Yeah. If I didn't have my breakfast, it was a long day for me.
Okay.
All right.
Where are we at? Number 6. 6 is which of these has the highest age statement?
Yeah. Wow, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm horrible at guessing.
I'm gonna look at my notes here.
Okay. Yeah, take a minute. That's why we had you take them.
Crap, dude, this is a tough one. I'm trying to think of which one had the most barrel character. Ugh. I don't. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna guess. I'm gonna go with O.
All right.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
Okay, so as far as the highest age statement, we're gonna go with O. Okay, fair.
Wait, can I get it?
Yeah, but I didn't lock you in yet. I'm about to.
Okay, hold on. Damn it. I'm gonna. I'll change. Yeah, I'll go with O. Whatever.
They always tell you to trust your instinct, right? On your first guess. All right. Which of these is the most expensive? And as far as how that goes, I mean the manufacturer's suggested retail price, not secondary.
Oh.
It's spoiler alert. I don't know the secondary price on most things.
Damn it.
I just go for what it actually lists for.
This one's tough.
Yeah.
I'm between X and O on this.
Okay.
I'm gonna go against my first impulse and say X.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then the flip side of that is which is the least expensive?
Triangle.
All right. 9 is which of these was distilled in Kentucky?
So this is tough because I'm thinking there's some Indiana rye in here.
Okay.
I didn't get any Kentucky rye notes from some of these. I'm getting so deep in the weeds here, man. This is way beyond my level of expertise. I'm just gonna guess here.
There you go.
I'm gonna flip the coin in my head, and I'm gonna say square. Wait, no. No, we'll go with O.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And then how about the wild card here for you? Which of these is distilled in Michigan?
You know what? I'm thinking. I read people pretty well, Tommy.
Okay.
And I'm thinking you got a soft spot for that guy right there. I'm thinking you got a soft spot for the triangle, brother.
Okay.
I'm going with that one.
All right.
That's the one.
Okay. So I'm going to put you in for triangle there.
There you go.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to tabulate your score here. I'm not going to tell you what you got, but then we'll do the reveal. Then I'll tell you your score, and
I need a passing mark. I need a passing mark.
Well, here's the thing. There is no passing mark. This is at this point. This is just for the hell of it. We do have like a cumulative leaderboard.
Okay.
Publish that maybe this week. But the highest anybody's done is 6. The lowest I think was 3. So the range is like 3 to 6. So whatever.
And get ready to remove that mark on the bottom of your dry erase board and put my name there.
All right. Well, give me a second. I'll tell you where we're at. And even if if I did it myself, I could just as easily get 2 or 0 or who knows.
Well, at least if I got one right, I'm doing okay.
I know you got a few. Let me go through this here. All right. So looking at my answer key. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Man, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to this.
No, you do what you got to do.
Thank you. When we went to Four Roses, they had 10 barrels out. I meant 8 or 10 barrels, and obviously you don't want to finish all the samples that they pour for you because they pour.
No, I learned that on my first barrel pick, Mike.
Yeah, and they don't thieve out of the barrel like they do at Wild Turkey, so they pour everything for you. And there was one that I kept going back to and asked for a second and a third pour. And they're looking at me like, okay, well, wait a minute. What are you doing, man?
Pace yourself.
Yeah, pace yourself. But I'm not shy. If I want it, I'll ask for it, brother.
No, I did a barrel pick. I actually went with Scott and Jason when they came to Evernorth last October. And it was the first time I ever went on a barrel pick.
Yeah.
So I'd been to Evernorth, so I'm kind of familiar, with the setting. But Dan Shook is like drilling into all these barrels, and he's filling your glass, and I'm sipping, and I didn't realize I don't have to drink everything that's put in front of me.
Right.
I learned after that day. I made it through, but it was a little rough going home, and thank God I had a Tyler there with me to drive us home. But
so let me tell you. So when we did the Wild Turkey pick the night before, we were at a dive bar in Louisville, downtown Louisville. I don't remember the name of the place, but they were pouring Old Rip and an E.H. Taylor barrel proof. I think it was batch 9. It was an old bottle. Look at it. They've been sitting there for years, obviously, right? And it's like $30 for a 2.5 ounce pour. This shit. And so me and my buddy, we killed the Old Rip bottle and almost killed the E.H. Taylor bottle. And then the next day, I'm supposed to go to Wild Turkey and do do a pick, and I was wrecked. It was a bad experience. I got through it, because I'm a professional. But yeah, we had a great time, but man, that was one of the things that will always stay with me. Is like, why did I make that decision? Why did I do that? But when in Louisville, right, you got to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, I did. I struggled through that first pick. Had a blast, but realized next time I do this, it's definitely more about moderation and have a couple of sips, form an opinion, dump it, move on. So otherwise, you're going to end up wrecked. But
right. You can't lose focus, right? Yeah.
So I think I did pretty good Thursday and Friday on the picks, but it's always an experience, right?
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So Mike, this is interesting. I'm going through your scores, and I did it twice, and this. To me, this is interesting. You might find this interesting. So the first 5 questions, you friggin' nailed. You got all 5 right. And then I'm thinking, you just got to get one more, and you're at the top of the leaderboard. But then you got the last 5, you didn't get any. So you end up with 5.
Okay.
But so let's do the reveal. Let's find what you were drinking. All right. So first of all, the first one, triangle, I know you've had it because I went back and watched some of your content.
Okay. This is great, man. This
And
is what keeps you honest, brother. You know what I mean?
this
love
is it's the 13th colony. There's Southern Rye.
Okay. Yes,
And
I have a
you know,
bottle.
I think your video was something about like why is their bottle shaped like this or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it turns out, so the history of the 13th colony bottle is, I guess it was a reject from Brown Forman. So it was supposed to be that was supposed to be the birthday bourbon bottle, but Brown Forman rejected it. Yeah, and then 13th colony they bought the rights, and yeah.
What this looks like to me is the board game Sorry, like the pieces.
Right.
And they take up entirely too much shelf space. But that's what this one was. Of the four, probably my least favorite.
Okay.
But not a bad rye, right? I mean, there's some redeeming qualities there. It's not a bad whiskey. It's just of the four, my least favorite.
Which one was this again? I'm sorry.
This was Triangle.
Okay, got it.
So obviously a rye.
Yeah.
$51. Georgia and no age state.
America's Georgia.
America's Georgia.
Yep.
Square was the second one. Let me go grab that.
Randall, you're right. Why couldn't they have SATs like this in school?
I would have done better, right? Okay, so Square you said was your favorite? Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
X, I think.
X was your favorite. Okay, so Square was the Wild Turkey 101 8-year.
Really?
Yeah, that just came out fairly recently here. So 8-year age statement, Kentucky bourbon. I think of the price tags, this one was the lowest. I had it at about $42, I think. This
I
was
think MSRP is like $45 on that.
Yeah, so it was a little bit less than the 13th colony. Now X, have you had this one before, Mike? The 8-year one?
I have not had that. I've had the import, the Japanese import, but yeah, it's funny because I got on the Square, I got butterscotch, toffee, caramel, and then like a sweet floral note. Those were pretty evident for me. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this. Some people are not huge fans. I think it's maybe not that great compared to like a regular 101. I did a side by side and I thought it was significantly better. So that was my opinion. All right. Now next one was X. And this was your big winner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one I like. Evan Williams, Bottle and Bond. Oh, wait.
So, I mentioned earlier, we looked at who do we trust as far as giving opinions and ratings, right?
Yes.
So, obviously a lot of people put a lot of stock in what Fred Minnick has to say. And this one was the Journeyman Corsets, Whips, and Whiskey. I'm trying to get a good...
That sounds like my last Friday night, brother.
Right? This was his, I think his whiskey of the year, 2 years in a row.
Oh.
And it's actually a Michigan product.
Me and Fred, we're like that. We're like that.
Yeah, you got to get a similar palate, I guess.
Yeah.
Non-age stated, it is 100% wheat whiskey.
Okay. All right.
And it comes in at 117 proof. So this was the highest proofed whiskey of the bunch. And also one that's most likely to get killed next.
That thing was great.
Yeah. And this is one that I think as far as, if you were going to dive into what Michigan whiskeys you should try, this would definitely be.
Well, I'm going to have to get a bottle of that.
All right. And
for sure.
So we got one more. And that was, okay, so this was a bit of a wild card. Hang on.
If this isn't finished, I'm going to be very embarrassed. Okay.
Well, no, if you remember, I think it was question
3.
Question 3 was finished, and you nailed it. It's another Michigan product, and this is the Dragon's Milk Origin.
Okay.
And it is the maple barrel finish.
Okay.
It was a maple barrel that you were getting as far as the notes go. And I was kind of jotting down some of your reactions here. And one you knew right away triangle, you knew that was a rye. You had some interesting takes as far as like the orange wedge, dill, dough, but you not dildo, but you knew right away this was a rye. So you were spot on there. The turkey, you got the butterscotch, toffee, sweet floral, maybe. My writing got floppy. Maybe a little bit of cinnamon, which are all things that you could get on 101.
Yeah.
To me, I tend to get a lot of like dark cherry, like toffee notes. But to me, this did have like a little bit of, I hate to say age, but maybe a little dustiness to it. When I was drinking it side by side with the 101, I know it's not that different. I mean, 101 is what, 6 to 8, and this is just 8, but it tastes a little older somehow.
Yeah.
X was, let's see, what did you have? Warm caramel rice crispy treat. That was an excellent call out. Dark fruit, and there's some interesting notes here on this one. It's a complex whiskey, despite it just being wheat. There are a lot of interesting nuances to it.
Yeah, I would love to like take my time and sit down with some of these and just leave them in a glass, nose it.
Yeah, this is one that I would definitely seek out. And if for some reason you can't, get it out there, let me know and I can see what I can do for you.
Thank you.
And then the last one, this one, I think you dialed in right away that this was sweet, and it is. Funnel cake, chocolate, and I think you said something like, "If this isn't finished, I don't know what."
Yeah, I mean, there was a rich like hazelnut too on that.
Yes, and so I think you were spot on a lot of these. I mean, some of these questions maybe I'll have to tweak if I won't tweak them this year because I want to keep it consistent, but.
I think the format's great, man. These are great questions, and it's very challenging. And for someone like me who's kind of new to this and still kind of exploring the whole experience, it's very challenging. So I was questioning myself quite a bit. I thought I was really going to come out here and embarrass myself.
Oh, you did really well actually, and I was like, wow, I got boom, 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 boom. How did you ace this thing? But
cool.
I knew when you gave your responses to some of them that you kind of did so knowing that I knew when you gave the answer to the Michigan one that you weren't going to get the Kentucky one.
Yeah.
So you I guess you could have hedged your bet a little bit, but who wants to do that?
Yeah, man.
Dude. I thought you did.
I'm good at gambling, brother. I stay out of casinos.
Hey, 50-50, you would have walked away even, Steven. Nothing wrong.
Yeah, I'm married. That's enough of a gamble for me, bro. You know what I mean?
All right, so Mike, we've got about 5 minutes to 9. Why don't we, Tyler? Why don't we get the wheel pulled up? Why don't we give away a bottle? All right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see, Tyler. Why don't we do, Mike? How many times should he hit randomize or shuffle?
3 times.
3 times. All right, there you go. See, I had a discussion with Tyler. He says, "Well, random is random, Dad. It doesn't matter." And I think he's right, actually. But it does seem more, I don't know. More interesting if you shuffle it anyway. I don't know. All right, so Tyler, if you got it shuffled 3 times, go ahead and hit spin. Let's see who gets them out.
Marty Party.
Marty, I don't know if you've tried this one, but you're gonna like it, dude. Especially if you like a honey finish. It's a hell of a bottle. So Marty, let's remove, and let's get another spin in, and this will be for the flight that we just ran Mike through here. So these 4 bottles to my left.
Not a bad one in the bunch.
I don't think so. I mean, you gotta. I think the 13th Colony is a bit of a crusher. Corvette Trey. All right. Congratulations. So you're gonna get a plate here of 4. And then we got one more for the Bourbon Jerk Glen, which I know is at the top of everybody's must-have list. We got to add in here. Trey Larkin or Cindy Larkin. I think it's Trey Larkin.
Congrats, Cindy.
All right. All right. So there we go. We got a few winners. We're going to give away some free stuff here. Everybody, I appreciate you hanging out with us. Mike, this was fun, dude.
Dude, I had a good time. Yeah. I always have a good time.
We don't have a huge following, but the people that are in here, like I said, I know most of them. It's very comfortable for me knowing that I've kind of got my support group behind us here. I'm glad that they got a chance to hang out with you, get to know you a little bit, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Mike's channel, go check him out. Tyler, want to post a link to Bird's Eye Bourbon, or anybody that has a wrench next to your name? Go ahead, post Mike's link.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What were you up to? About 1,600, 1,700 or something?
I think I just eclipsed 1,600. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I built my channel on bourbon hunting. Obviously, I enjoy it. Yeah.
When you shoot those videos, do you have to go into the store and ask the people before you shoot, or you just do it?
Yeah, it depends. So I used to just go in and ask for permission and then start shooting. But normally I'll walk in first and talk to the owner, or I'll reach out to them on Instagram. But I get a lot of referrals, man. So the last 6 months or so, people tell me, "Hey, go to this store. Go to this store." I've talked to the owner. They want you to come in. So most of it's prearranged. And
okay, I always am curious of how that works.
Yeah,
I always feel when I go to a store, and this I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but when I go to a store, I don't want anybody's attention. Like I don't want anybody to look at me. I just want to go in there. I want to go about my business, see what you got. If I have a question, I'll ask you, but I don't, I just kind of want to be left alone.
No,
I think I go in there, with a big camera or a phone, and I'm shooting everything, and I don't know, making a spectacle of myself. And I don't like the attention, I guess. Do you find that people are like, watching you when you're doing this, or
it doesn't bother me. So for me, it's like a self-improvement exercise. So okay. I'm an introvert by nature, and so when I started this, I squeezed like a lifetime of audacity into 2 weeks. I said, I'm going to commit. I'm going to do it. And I'm out in a liquor store talking to a camera. It doesn't bother me. People give me weird looks. It's okay, But
I guess once you do it once or twice, that you probably get over it, right?
Yes, and then eventually you don't even notice. You get you get dilated, and you don't even see anything else. And so it's just me. I pretend like I'm talking to the audience, and that's it. And I always have a good time. Most people are kind of interested. Is that what are you doing? I have to stop filming and explain.
And it is a bit of a phenomenon how many people will click and watch those videos.
My hunting videos get views. Whereas my tasting videos they get maybe a third of the views that my hunting videos.
It is so random. I haven't done a hunting video. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. I usually try to do like a quick review video. I think the ones that seem to get attention are the ones if it's a brand new bottle, which is rare for me because I don't usually get stuff right away.
That one's coming up. I just cracked that guy.
I did that one.
Yeah, I know. I watched the video.
If I had to pick maybe my favorite thing I've tried this year, that might be it. And which was surprising because at the time I don't think I gave it like the highest score. I think maybe it was the next one down, but
yeah,
that's a hell of a whiskey.
It's great.
It's kind of a list video. If you do like any kind of ranking of some sort, people seem to be somewhat interested. I don't know, but the algorithm, we haven't figured it out. But I think we are about 15 or 20 subscribers away from 2,000, which I know it's not a lot, but for, we maybe put in a video a week and, a stream here and there. And, I'm not sinking a ton of time into this at this point. It is still a milestone that I'm excited to reach because it took us a long time to get to the first 1,000.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, dude, Yeah, people ask me about my progress on YouTube, and I say, people watch the videos, right? So some of my videos get 5, 8, 10,000 views, but getting people to subscribe is like the 12 labors of Hercules. You know what I'm saying? They just want to hit the button. I don't know, maybe they don't like the content or whatever, or they just can't be bothered to subscribe. But I get a lot of return viewers because I look at the data, I look at the stats. So just hit the button. I don't care if you ever watch a video. You know what I mean? You don't even need the bell.
I'm really bad when I'm doing a video, Mike. I'm really bad at pausing at some point during the video and saying, hey, if you like this, like and subscribe. 99% of the time when I'm shooting a video, I forget to even say that. Yeah. But I did notice that when I did that a couple of the times on some of our bigger videos, is we did get a lot of subscribers. So you do, I think there is some rationale there. You got to tell people to do it, otherwise
begging sometimes works, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. You got to kind of feel like you're doing a little song and dance. Hey. But if you say, hey, are you subscribed to the channel? Go ahead and click that button. Doesn't cost you anything, whatever. People do actually do it. I just forget like 99% of the time.
Yeah, subscribe. You'll feel good and warm, man. I promise you.
But what I will say is keep doing what you're doing, and I've definitely noticed your production getting better. So as take that for what it's worth. Your shot, the background, it sticks, it pops. Your energy is off the charts. So
thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
I will.
People are catching on.
Thank you.
Anything you want to promote here, Mike, before we wrap up?
No, I'm not into self-promotion. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
you're not into self-promotion. You're running a YouTube channel.
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to be one of those people who wants to talk about me and my experience. I want.
How about this? Any collaborations or upcoming videos or anything that's interesting that you want to?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be at Corbin Cash in a couple of days. I'm going there on Saturday. So look for that video. I'm going to shoot a full review of the distillery. Maybe pull David Souza to the side and see if I can get a quick interview. So there's that. But as far as lives are concerned, I don't do lives. I don't know why, because my schedule it's tough because I can't do a live in the afternoon because I've got to go to work. So luckily I have tonight off. Yeah, I don't like to drink before I go to work. That's
probably not the best idea.
Well, I mean, I think my boss is a subscriber, so that would be bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, do I like to plug stuff? No, but I mean, it's kind of the deal here. We've got our video. I think we've got we did a review for the Green River weeded foolproof. That should be out within the next 2 days. We're just finishing up the editing, and then we're going to be sorting through all the content we shot on the pics. I think we've got some good stuff. Hopefully it turned out, because I think that would be something that's different from a lot of the stuff that I've posted, and it should be interesting and fun.
Weeded foolproof sounds fantastic.
Dude, it's good. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, right? Yeah. So everybody that hung out with us, guys, I really appreciate you guys. Everybody that's in the Patreon group, I appreciate that. I'll be picking the giveaway for this month soon. I didn't forget. I've got a few things here to pick from. Get that announcement up there. If you're not in, check out the Bourbon Jerk Patreon, Circle of Jerks, Mike, play on words there. As far as everything else goes, I mean, I don't know. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Stay jerky.
Later.